thank you so much for agreeing to come on the Oregon Brew Running Series show.
I'm so stoked. I've never actually been able to do one of the runs because Saturday is a big brunch day.
Of course. Well, and it was funny. You were one of the first people to follow us on Twitter and maybe Instagram, and you were at our initial kickoff event back in, I think it was August of last year.
Right.
Or September? No, it was August. But yeah, because your job at Byways Café does not allow you to do that.
I know. And
which is a bummer.
Well, and I think the brewery run would be fantastic for me if I could do it, because to get up, get your running out of the way, head directly into day drinking, like, hello.
Exactly. By 11:30 a.m., you've got a 5K under your belt and you've got a beer in your hand.
And it's, what could be better? Yeah.
Not a lot. So, well, when I initially emailed you a couple months ago, there's so many things that we could talk about, Collin. From our mutual love of the Chicago Cubs, our mutual love of breakfast, our mutual love of running. We're teammates on the PRC race team. Beer, of course, comedy. So what I thought I would do is maybe start with, I don't know if this is what most people know you of, but talk about Byways Café.
Yeah.
And just kind of start there. If people don't know, it's a primarily breakfast and lunch place, right?
Just we're not
open
for dinner.
3, 2, something like that?
Yeah, 3.
And even with that, I was thinking about, like, well, what could we talk about with that? Because you guys have been there for ever. Before Portland was cool, right?
Portland was always cool.
Well,
just not this kind of cool.
Not this cool.
This is like cool version, like 5.0 that's going on right now. Byways started in 1999.
Okay.
And July 1st of 1999.
July 1st.
I had the keys in my hand to this little restaurant that didn't have a name and didn't have a theme. And I had already worked in that building for 7 years prior to that as kitchen manager and so forth. So I've actually been working in that building since 1992.
Oh, interesting.
When I was 23 years old.
How amazing is that?
I grew up there, yeah.
So to say that there's some sweat equity involved would be an understatement.
Absolute understatement, yeah. But it's really, really great. The restaurant I bought had been, it was Shaker's originally, and that place was super popular. That was like one of the first kind of brunchy sort of new Portland things that happened.
Gotcha, okay.
And they sold it to another woman who is part owner of the Helvetia Tavern. And
I've heard of that. Yep.
And she kind of just wanted it as a hobby job. And I think back then...
Food service is not a hobby.
Well, no,
job,
not really. She realized that she was going to have to really work and devote a lot of time to make it run.
Right.
And also the Pearl District, now that I think about the irony of this, didn't like some rich lady moving in from Hillsborough and taking away their beloved little diner in their crappy little neighborhood.
Which is the opposite of what's going on there right now.
Exactly. Now, like right now, it's like totally like having the crummiest like house on the block, but everybody's going to scream when they demolish it.
Oh, exactly.
Kind of thing. So yeah, I got the chance to buy it, and the neighborhood boycott that had happened over the 9 months that the other person owned it, like nobody came in. I'd stand there and look at people walking by and be like, "Hey Joe, hi Joe, it's Collin. I've been making you a BLT for 7 years. I know what you want. Why won't you come in?" And people just wouldn't
because
do
they thought it was still...
They were just pissy about the gentrification of the Pearl District.
Of course, of course.
And so when I bought it, suddenly everybody started coming again because it was sort of like local girl makes good kind of thing.
Okay, so it was like the homecoming.
It was like a homecoming in a way, even though I had never left.
Right.
There was that. And I can't...
But now they thought, oh, this local place.
Right. Yeah. They were like, oh, look, Collin's, it's back under, I don't know what they were thinking, but they did come back. And I can't badmouth.
It's good that they come back.
The woman I bought it from gave me really, really an amazing opportunity. And
that's
so
cool.
She's just, I would not be here without her.
So you've owned it since 1999?
Yes.
Okay.
But the woman who had owned it for 9 months before deciding to sell it to me, when she said, and I had given up the opportunity to go to a different job to stay and work with her, and then 9 months in, she said, "Oh, I want to sell the restaurant," and I was so mad. I remember we were sitting at the Gypsy, which is Old Portland also, and I was like, "Oh no! Like we made a deal. Like I was going to leave, not go to that other job and work for you.
I want this place.
Right. And she said, no, I'm going to sell it to you. And I was like, no. And ironically enough, this is before I was a runner. I said to her, no, I am a team player. I love baseball. I hate jogging. I don't want to do this on my own kind of thing.
That's funny.
Also, I don't have any money. I work for you. And she actually carried a contract. I paid off the restaurant over time.
Wow.
So I said I cannot badmouth her
that's
one single
awesome.
bit. She was really wonderful for me.
That's in some ways the classic American entrepreneur story.
It really,
a lot of ways.
It really is. I felt like I almost didn't deserve the good fortune that had happened to me for the first couple years, and then I realized that I had worked really, really hard to get that level of trust, to have somebody say, you know, I'm going to carry you for a bit.
It's pretty cool. I think that you know, walking in there, the plates and the license plates, is that how has that evolved? Because I'm sure that day one you didn't have all those plates. Is that like, did you do that? Did have customers brought that to you, and you at some point decided this is going to be our thing?
Well, that first day when I was like, oh my God, I don't have a theme. The sign still said Cindy's Helvetia Cafe on the outside of it. The best part about it was that I had always wanted to do a restaurant that kind of had food from all different parts of the USA. And I had always collected like antique souvenirs, travel souvenirs.
Sure.
Even though I myself had never traveled anywhere because I was always busy working.
Of course.
And so I would just
like a
buy
theme, Collin.
stuff. Yeah, totally by theme. The best part about it was that those cases that are on the sides that are full of stuff, Cindy had kind of left some things there, but they didn't really have a theme. They were just sort of some antique, like some hats of her great aunts and stuff like that.
Oh,
and I ended
like
up
garage sale stuff.
I ended up just bringing all my crap from home and putting it in the cases. And so to this day,
awesome.
There's a complete set of 1962 Seattle World's Fair glasses that were mine, that I used to drink out of and run to the dishwasher.
Amazing.
And all that stuff.
I'm just going to leave those
things there. Just put them in there. And then I remember just standing out there like looking at that sign and thinking, okay, when I have the money, I'll get it painted so it has like my name on it.
Right.
And I knew I liked the travel theme.
Sure.
And Byways seemed to really fit because the highway is the fast way and the byway is like the slow scenic route. Relax and enjoy yourself.
Right.
And then that red dot, which has become our logo, the "You Are Here."
Yes.
At that time on the sign, it was yellow and it had a chicken on it. And I was just staring at it. And I'm like,
a yellow chicken dot.
What am I going to put there? Like, what? And I'm definitely a teenager in the 80s kind of new wave person.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, the video to the Human League song Fascination popped into my head.
I don't know it, but I want to Google it now.
Oh, you know, the Keep Feeling Fascination.
Okay.
Passion Burning, Love So Strong, that one. That video actually starts with an above shot of a city map with a big red "You Are Here" sign on top, and then the camera pans down and you see that like the entire top of the building is painted like the dot. So yes, there's a little bit of Byways lore of where the "You Are Here" happened.
Interesting. I think it's fascinating. So we're at Hopworks Bike Bar in North Williams Avenue right now, and looking around, this is a very intentional theme, and it obviously has been meticulously planned.
Yeah.
So it's fun to hear stories of restaurants that it more grew organically out of either need or interest or just other stuff. So
yeah,
that's so interesting. I wonder how many of the PRC gang who go there on a regular basis know all of that. Yeah, that.
I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll tell someone. Yeah,
because pretty cool.
Most of the stuff now, we've had years and years since we've been open for so long. Customers just bringing stuff in. And going, here, these were my grandma collected these state plates. Would you like them? And I have so many. I have giant, 5-gallon pickle tubs full of state plates.
You have more than what's displayed.
Right. And I have to, thank you. Thanks for the license plate.
Great.
Yeah. We do love the license plate, but now if it's a custom one, we like those if they say you got to figure it out. Gives people something to do while they're waiting for their food.
They're looking, trying to figure out what does that mean? Yeah, that's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have all 50 states? You must.
Oh, yes, we do. Okay. And we get a lot of people that are like, stop.
Yeah.
Where's the Rhode Island? Do you have the Rhode Island? And I'm like super busy. And I'm like, it's somewhere and you'll find it,
You find it, you get $1 off your meal.
Right. Just have your children find it for you. Yeah. There's a fun game.
Would you say that Byways is a local place or a tourist spot?
A little bit of both.
Okay, that's what I was going to guess.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, we were on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives in 2007, I think. I don't know.
Did
Guy Fieri?
He was there.
He came. We were on the very first season, and so.
Wow. What'd you make him? Biscuits and gravy?
No. Actually, French toast, blue corn, corned beef hash, like all of our usual favorites.
Okay.
And he did a great job. He made my food look great. People love his show. I think he goes to really, really amazing places. The experience of having, we're so small, and at that time I wasn't doing comedy. I wasn't doing anything. I was just used to being a cook.
You were living in Byways.
Right. So just to have a camera in my face and this strange looking man, like, I mean, he's the backwards sunglasses and that kind of stuff.
He's a personality. He's definitely a character.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Like a very constructed character, I think.
Yes.
But we didn't realize that he had so many fans, and I had never seen the show.
Oh really?
Until our show.
Until yours was on there.
Right. And if we had known to maybe call other restaurants and say, hey, what happened to you guys after this went on?
Yeah.
Because the show aired.
Interesting.
The phone started just ringing off the hook. And we spent the next like 3 or 4 months literally trying to figure out how to recreate how we made things because we could not keep up. And
just watch the show and just...
It's amazing. No, I mean,
funny.
Literally, I'd have my entire grill covered with corned beef hash. And then I'd have to move that into the oven and just hold it because everybody wanted, I want what Guy had. I want what Guy had.
Great. So do you have a menu item called This Is What Guy Had?
We do not. And what's actually super nice about being one of the first people to be on the show is that now when he goes to places, he makes you do this stencil of his face sprayed up on the wall. Well, just say he likes to leave his mark.
Yes.
Kind of thing. And he wasn't doing that when we were on the show.
Good. So what year was that?
That was I think it was 2007.
2007.
6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the restaurant business is notorious for high turnover, huge failure rate. You guys have been around, what is that, 18 years?
Yes.
19 years?
18.
So what's the secret? Is it just, obviously your food's amazing. It's a cool place, but there's got to be a little bit more to it than that.
Yeah, I think a big part of our secret is like the reason I think that I started out successful. Like when I said, all my regulars came back once I owned it. I think that people really, really like to support somebody who's doing something they love. Yeah. That or they just realized that I'd been flipping burgers in high school and I still didn't know how to do anything else and they felt bad, But no, that was definitely like I had people saw that attentive care that's put in. And so I have a business partner and she and I, one of us is always there.
Okay.
I think
she must be there now since you have the day off.
On my wedding day, I think was the only day that we went. Okay, you guys, you got to be okay for one day, and
it didn't burn down.
And it didn't burn down, and nothing horrible happened. But yeah, one of us is always there.
Okay.
Everything's homemade. That's a big. I love to point out that I don't have a microwave in the kitchen, which is unheard of for.
And you have one of those. Old-fashioned milk machines. Are
you talking about the cow?
Yeah, the cafeteria thing. Is that? I don't know.
We call it the cow.
The cow. Okay.
Yeah, it has the big bag of milk in a box inside.
Exactly.
God, if we had one at home, can you imagine your kids with unfettered access to the cow?
Well, I think it would all be on the floor.
Mine too. Mine too. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, so everything's really good and really homemade. We've managed to alter our menu according to what people want. Like there was a time when we didn't even have avocados and then tofu happened. Oh my god. And now it's like gluten-free this and
that's got to be hard as a an owner operator. I think you're on the website it says you are a co-owner and executive chef.
Yes, exactly.
I'm guessing you wear many more hats than that.
Yeah.
But it's got to be hard to keep up with those things and you kind of have to do what you like when what's easy, but also what people want to eat.
Yeah, we never do what's easy. Like that's the thing.
Well, true.
When we'll add something, like when we finally added biscuits and gravy, my business partner tends to be the one who's like, oh, people want this. It's going to be so great. And then there's always, and you'll never have to make them. And now I make biscuits every single day of my life in there because they just sell. It's the way it works. But people wanted them. When there are a lot of like food allergies happen and so forth. And frankly, I've been cooking my entire life, and cilantro. People ask like that was just discovered in the 80s, like it was the greatest thing. And so now magically, there's a special gene that makes it taste like soap, so everyone feels
true.
Yes, and everyone feels completely justified in walking in saying, "I can't have any cilantro," and it's like, well,
have this. Yeah,
you could. Because you could also eat a bar of soap and it probably wouldn't kill you.
Right. You just don't like it.
Right. So don't make me pick it out of the salsa. It's not going to happen because we made the salsa by hand.
Speaking of outlets and trying to make a transition here.
Okay. Nice segue.
Trying to segue. You do stand-up comedy.
I do.
Which is amazing to me. I want to know, well, one, can you tell me some jokes? Two, like, how do you get into that? My sister-in-law lives in Chicago, and she does stand-up comedy. She's in a couple of improv groups, and just talking to her and what I know about it, it's just a lot of hard work. Yes. And the people who do it are like, years and years of going on for a few minutes here and there for free or whatever. So how'd you get into it? And I've never seen your act, which I would love to sometime. But yeah, so how'd you get into it? Like, what's like, do you have like kind of bits that you do all the time, or
I'm pretty new at it, which is good. It's only been about a year, really. I got into it. I was always kind of like the funny person at parties that could like tell a funny story kind of thing. That's because people had been drinking and I'd been drinking,
right?
That kind of thing.
Well, lots is funny with.
Lots is funny, yeah. So I'd always been kind of a funny person, and there's a group in Portland called Let's Stand Up.
Oh, okay. Like, I've seen. Yeah, I've seen you shared on. Probably on Facebook.
They're freaking amazing, and they had decided to have a comedy school, and we were at one of their shows, and they decided, sign up if you might be interested in something like this. And so my wife signed me up because I had fallen asleep and had to go home because I had to work so early in the morning. Typical.
Funny.
But so I.
She just thought this might be fun.
Yeah,
like she'd be good at this.
So months later, I get this email, and I was like, "That sounds like it might be kind of fun." And I applied, and I did a 10-week class. And I think there were 12 or 13 of us in the class, and it was pretty amazing. Like, we learned the stuff I found. I mean, the most helpful was the physicality of comedy. Like, when you go up on stage in an open mic, here's what you do: you shake the host's hand, you move the mic stand. They're gonna like hold up something called the light you, which is usually at an open mic you get 3 minutes.
Okay.
And so somebody will hold up a cell phone with the flashlight mode on, and when you have a minute left, they'll hold up 2 fingers in front of it. I have never seen the light in my life. Once I get up there, I will just go. And
just go until someone gets out the hook and pulls you off.
It just starts a big gong or something. Like, get off here. But just learning how that all worked was really good. We learned about what is a joke. We worked on stuff together, like, hey, that you think that's funny, but I hate to tell you that it's kind of racist.
That's really offensive, right?
So, and it was a safe space.
Okay.
Like the first class, like the first words out of one of our professors' mouths was that we're not going to have any racist, homophobic, fat shaming, all the isms that you could possibly do. Jokes are not going to be okay.
That's some people's whole bit.
And me, being such a silly dumbass sometimes. I wanted to stand up and go, well, I got nothing, I'm out of here. But
I'm out.
It's mean to be funny, but not funny. But so we did the class, and then we had a graduation show. And at the end of our graduation show, our professor said, by the way, you're going to see all these folks putting on their own show in the next 2 months. And we were all like, what?
I thought we were done with this.
Right. And so the graduating class formed our own group.
Okay.
And we're called That's What She Said. Queer Feminist Comedy Collective. It's a lot of writing. Sometimes we'll like.
That's what she said.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's what she said. It was kind of taking back that, because those are always like the most misogynist jokes, or anytime.
They're awful.
That's what she said.
They're awful.
Yeah. And so we started putting on our own shows, doing them primarily. It's always been a benefit for a nonprofit.
Oh, cool.
Right. So we pick a nonprofit, and then
that's very cool. Which ones have you worked with?
We worked with Bradley Angle.
Okay.
A couple different times. We worked with Pride Foundation. We've worked with, now I'm going to forget them. Pride Foundation. I can't remember the other ones. Sorry,
okay.
Put me on the spot.
We can add them in the show. Show description notes.
But we've been working with them, and it's really good because they have the resources to sell tickets.
Sure.
Because they have their own followers and subscribers, and so it's a good way for us to fill. We always have performed at the Siren Theater. Which is
where's that?
It's on 3rd and Northwest Davis. It's awesome. It's right behind the Society Hotel, like same building.
Oh, okay.
Practically.
I know that area.
Yeah, and it's a really great
cool.
spot.
Yeah.
The woman, Shelley McClendon, who runs the Siren, she herself is amazing. She does a lot of sketch comedy and so forth. And she gives a lot of...
Sounds like the bathroom driver.
It's all right. That's me just,
blowing
my nose in the middle of comedy. Yes.
So the first time you did it, were you... like terrified,
Absolutely.
Scared, nervous?
The first time I even got up in front of our class to just do a little bit, I was completely like terrified. But the first time I got on a stage, like at an open mic, and got to talking, it felt great. And then the first time I got on stage at one of our shows, where I've got a sold out theater in front of me and so forth, and the lights come on, and I hate to say it, it feels amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine it would.
Oh God! And when you get up there and your stories are rolling and you're getting such good response,
oh my
that
gosh,
it just no wonder I never see the light. Like, why
Right.
would I want to leave that?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. You want to stay up there as long as possible.
and just bathe in it.
Before we moved to Portland, I worked for a small university back in Minnesota, and every year I did new student orientation. And at the beginning of every year, I would give a big talk to all the new students and parents, and it wasn't. I mean, I would try to have jokes to kind of loosen whatever, and so I totally get that, like, when you're up in front of people, that like energy, and it's just like it's like a little high. It's like,
I know, when you're rolling, you're rolling.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Great.
So like, how do you said that one of the things you learned was how to craft a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there like, is it a 3-step process, a 5-step, or what's the anatomy of a joke, Collin?
Okay, well, the anatomy of joke starts with like what kind of a joke you're trying to build, and some people get up
kinds
there.
Of jokes.
Yes.
Okay.
Some people it's the one-liners. The typical I just flew in from Las Vegas and boy are my arms tired, or that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then there are puns.
Okay.
Some of the puns. We have a woman in our group that does like puns that take things and then make them really, really disgusting. And it's sometimes you'll laugh despite yourself. I can't really do all of them.
Yes.
Because they're the property of her.
Right.
Not me.
Yes, you can't steal jokes. I do know that.
Right.
That's a big no-no.
I am a storyteller comic.
Okay.
Which involves usually like, it's a story, but there's a whole lot of some physical humor that goes into it because I have to act things out a lot. I try not to engage with the audience too much, but it just happens.
I mean, like if someone shouts out and something and you're like,
if
hey, buddy, keep it down,
if somebody
whatever.
Heckles, which never happens, you just
ignore them.
That's such a humble brag. No one's ever heckled me. If somebody does say something, I'm going to be doing actually the biggest show of my young comedy career coming up this August 18th. I'm doing the national conference in Oakland for a group called Butch Voices.
Oh, in Oakland. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'll come see you, but I won't if it's in Oakland.
But it's this group Butch Voices brings masculine of center folks from everywhere, all over the world together to talk about.
Interesting.
And some are trans folks, some are cisgendered women, some are older butches. It's just a whole safe space, but there's lots of different workshops and so forth. And so I'm going to be the only comic at it's called Butch Nation, and
that's awesome, Collin.
Oh my God.
Are you are your jokes going to be about like those things, or are they going to completely just unrelated?
Since I'm a storyteller comic, and the majority of my stories come from my own life anyway.
Sure.
And you can't really see me at the moment, but I'm a relatively butch woman. I get sued frequently, and I'll use it to my advantage. Let me tell you.
Funny.
The stories all come from a point of view I think that audience is really gonna enjoy. Okay. And I do tailor my jokes sometimes according to my audience. Yeah, we did a fundraiser for Bradley Angle that a sorority at Portland State was doing. And so I did, so I did a bunch on millennials, and you could see when I got up there and I started to talk about millennials, the looks in these girls' faces of like, don't do that, don't come hate on us anymore. We hate it, and it was all their good qualities, and how during this, after the post-election, these were really good qualities that they had.
Very cool. So did they at the end? Could you tell?
Yes,
they appreciated it. They're like, hey, she's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Because when I was like, you guys could rent your phone numbers to people of my age because I want to actually vote in an online petition, but I don't want to give them my phone number because to me calls from out of state are bizarre and scary.
Never answer them.
And millennials don't answer the freaking phone anyway, right? So they could do that, and
that's funny.
Just things like that.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
I'm excited about the Butch Voices.
Yeah, that's do you have how do I want to ask this? Do you have is your comedy just something that you do for fun because you like it, or is it more like you want to use it for like at this conference, I can use this for more of a societal good, I'm good at it, all those things together? Or
I've only ever received an actual payment once, and I told jokes at a dog's birthday party, and I got 2 PBRs.
That is so Portland.
I know. I got 2 PBRs and a $5 bill, which it was the first time I had ever done a set where people were taking tips.
Okay.
And so I had thrown $5 in there.
So you got it back.
And I got my $5 back. Yeah, it was at the Ross Island Grocery. Has a nice little
What kind of jokes do you tell at a dog's birthday party? comedy?
Oh, the jokes were pretty much more for the people in general.
Sure.
The dog was real sweet.
Okay.
Big 1-year-old Newfoundland.
That's amazing.
She didn't laugh at any of my jokes, though. In fact, she was downright rude.
It was a rough crowd.
It was a very rough crowd. See that? There you go with the pun.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was going to do another one, but I won't. Do you have an opener? Do you have
an opening line?
Yeah, that's kind of your
my
go-to?
Big thing? Not so much.
Okay.
I usually come out and go, hey, everybody, oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I do a lot of MC work also.
Oh, okay. And I could see you being really good at that. I could totally see that, yeah.
That became a thing that I had no idea that...
Interesting, yeah.
And I like it, except you need to be... I could probably use some improv for that because a lot of the time, like... Someone will do
quick.
They'll do their act, and you have to. For instance, the woman in our comedy group that does kind of the gross puns. She opened a show once, and the audience was all kind of sitting there a little like ew, sort of.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when I came out, I'm like, hey, and that was Carolyn Maine. She'll laugh if she heard this. Yes, it was Carolyn Maine. Yeah. And I took like my hanky out of my tuxedo jacket and just started wiping off the microphone to let everybody know it wasn't going to be like that the whole time.
It's like that was a little different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had another at the sorority thing. A lot of these sorority girls, their parents were there too.
Oh.
Which was very nice.
Yeah.
But one of our comics was talking about all of the alternative milks that are out there in the world.
Sure.
The soy Coke and all those things.
Hemp,
and at the end of the thing, for some reason, I walked up and I said, thank you very much. That was Shannon Sales. And I was like, woo, for a second there, I thought she said alternative MILFs. And I was like, yeah, I'm down with that. And all of the dads in the room just burst out, right? Because they're all around my age.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's what MCing is all about.
It is quick. We, during our events, we do a little raffle. It's like, 10 minutes of just like calling people's names out, thanking sponsors. And me and Drew, my business partner, there is a bit of that improv stuff that we have to do because, we're calling these names out and people aren't coming up. And so to try to fill the dead air, it's always like, all right, what little appropriate joke can we make here? And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching people laugh at something that you just came up with like a half a second ago.
Do you ever just call out like Glen Coco?
We did. One time we did the Bueller thing or I can't remember.
Bueller's Precious.
Well, comedy's not even funny out of context, right? But it's
while it's happening.
It is, yeah. Well, you brought up the Dodgers and more importantly the Cubs.
Absolutely.
We are both huge Cubs fans. I don't know if there's a way to figure out who's a bigger Cubs fan, but since you've been a Cubs fan longer than me, well, okay. You win.
An homage. The tattoo is an homage.
I
didn't want to be like
Cubby Bear, right?
Well, with the strength and loyalty.
That's good.
I didn't want to be just like, put the logo right here, dude.
Right.
And I take a swoosh on the other arm too, So I have the
That's
tattoo.
Good.
So unless you're going to take your shirt off, you have an amazing
my
tattoo.
My whole back is just Anthony Rizzo's.
Oh my God.
Face.
It would be better if it was someone totally random that no one remembers,
like Jody Davis,
or Dwight Smith or somebody.
Yeah, Dwight Smith or Sean Dunston, maybe.
Oh my God, do you know Sean
Vance
Dunston?
Law? How's that?
I forgot about Vance Law.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, and I would go with Andre Dawson because the Hawk.
Yeah. The Hawk. Yeah.
So
I want to ask you two questions.
Yes.
So one, what was the emotional roller coaster for you in Game 7? Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll start with that and then go back because you said you have an interesting story of how you became a Cubs fan.
Right.
I just assumed it was because you're from Chicago at some point in your life, but you're not.
No, I'm just that Cubs crazy.
You're just that awesome. So let's start with that, actually. How did you become a Cubs fan?
Okay.
What's the... Maybe a abridged version. I don't know how long it is.
Okay. So when I was about 8 years old, so I lived with my mom and my little sister. And seriously, the only sports they would ever watch were figure skating and gymnastics. And
perfect.
Yeah, it's so exciting when you're like the kid who loves baseball, right?
Right.
And there was this team on TV all the time. And in Portland, we don't have baseball. We had the Beavers then, but who was going to take me? Not my mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So that they were on, and also Collin is a really weird name with like the 2 L's.
Right.
And I never got anything personalized. Like I just recently got a personalized license plate for my bicycle, and I'm so excited.
Wow.
Like,
what does it say?
Collin,
just
spelled
Collin.
correctly.
Okay.
Yes.
Collin.
Yes.
Nice.
But so just the C on the hat stood for Collin. Like that was as close.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank God you didn't become an Indians fan.
Yeah, or a Cincinnati fan.
I
was like, it could have. Thank you, WGN, for saving me. So and I just had been just in love with them forever, and then they never did anything good. I think until I was like 14 or something, and I was like, "What? The playoffs are for us too?
Yeah. We can be involved with this?
What? It's football season.
Exactly. October and there's baseball,
and this can't be right. Yeah, because it wasn't ever really November. On WGN.
Right, yeah, because they wouldn't do the
they
playoff
were done.
games. Exactly.
It would be I Dream of Jeannie again, like all over.
So let's see, when you were 14, what year would that have been? Was that like
1984? Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was that first experience of being like, but
exactly.
Look, they're all the guys from last year. Oh my God, they just slaughtered us. Right?
What happened? Yeah. That's interesting. So we became Cubs fans about the same time because so I was living in the Chicago area and all of my extended family lived there or lives there now. And I have this very distinct memory. So I was 5 years old in 1984. Of my parents and I think my aunts and uncles coming back from a Cubs game where they had won.
Right.
And them being very excited. And I was like, oh, cool, baseball. Like I'd gotten some baseball cards.
Right.
And then they were good that year. And then the next year the Bears went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And then we had moved to northern Minnesota right after that. And I was like, well, I'm from a place where sports are good, so these are my teams. And then, a couple years later in 89, the Cubs had another run. Little did I know that I was signing up for perhaps the most tortured fan base in sports history.
Oh, God, yeah.
But yeah, so Game 7, where... Well, was that the most emotional game? Because I physically broke down crying in a bar over in Hawthorne Avenue when they won the game to go to the World Series.
I was at a friend's wedding, and I remember being like, I can't believe I'm at a freaking wedding when this is happening. Like, shouldn't I get a pass to not be here right now?
Exactly.
And before that, I didn't have the MLB app on my phone, like I do now. Mm-hmm. And somebody else did. There was another Cubs fan at this wedding. And so this woman and I
watching it.
kind of end up like backing up, kind of checking it out a little bit. And finally she looks at me and she's like, she's got her phone, and I was allowed to watch like the last 3 outs, of that.
So
and
great.
Oh my
so
God.
Great.
And just after the rain delay and all the stuff going on, I remember like, oh no, the rain delay was World Series. Sorry.
Right. It's okay.
But there's actual video of me. I didn't cry during the entire wedding until the Cubs were going to the World Series, and that's when I've got like my hands over my face, like just losing my shit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I totally felt the same way. So my grandmother, who passed away in 2008, another year when the Cubs were good,
right?
Like she was my big like Cubs fan. Like she took me to probably my first game, like probably a dozen games when I was little.
Nice.
And for some reason, when they won, I just was like flooded with these emotions of like those memories, and like I can't believe this is happening, and something she never got to experience, and she and my grandfather, but he was a very stoic German man, so he didn't get emotional about anything ever.
Right. It's like us Cubs win.
Exactly. But yeah, then when they finally won, I have a video. My wife videoed me. I was just like, is it over? I don't know. Like, can I enjoy this yet? I don't. It just feels like there's going to be one more game or something that it's not going to happen. And
right. Did it?
It was crazy.
When we finally won. This is my biggest fear, I think, as a Cubs fan my entire life. Like I used to be like, a perfect Cubs game. Like I saw the Cubs play the Giants at Candlestick Park.
Okay.
And Sammy Sosa hit 3 homers, and we still lost. And that was in my mind. Like that's a perfect Cubs game.
That's great.
But then I was like, if we win the World Series, like, what's my identity? What is our identity as a cult? I mean, I didn't mean to say cult, but like as a group.
There's a little cultness.
There's a little something going on. It's not like, but you can be born into it. You don't have to be like,
right.
I don't know.
Volunteer, yeah. I think there's something about being a Cubs fan and what does your tattoo say? Strength and loyalty?
Strength and loyalty,
Strength and loyalty. There's something about that I think is so indicative of, or speaks to so many other areas of life where, we could have given up years ago and switched to a different team.
Oh, you could?
Well,
I
technically we had the option.
Right. Okay. If we wanted, I couldn't. There's no way I could.
Well, I couldn't either. I lived in Minnesota for so much of my life, and I could just never get behind the Twins, no matter what.
And I was here, like baseball.
Mariners.
Baseball's wasteland, and it's like, oh God.
But it's such a, I don't know. I think sticking with it, that payoff. And, people hearing this that aren't into baseball will never understand this, but there's something about baseball that is a long, slow, diligent, disciplined, heavily statistics, keep track of everything. Like, it's not this flashy, football or basketball or soccer or whatever else. And there's something to me that's just, I love that. I don't know if that's reasons why you like it too, but it's about longevity,
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, this will tie into our running discussion as well.
Exactly.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, it does, because some people, everyone always says, oh, not everyone, but people who don't get it say baseball's too slow. It's too slow. And I'm like,
life is too fast. So it's good to slow down.
162 games. Like, you get to know each player personally. You get to, that's my neighbor across the street, I was saying, has a 3-year-old that knows the players' names and pays attention and all this stuff. And I asked his mom, like, oh, is Liam just like super bright for a 3-year-old or something? And she's like, no, I think baseball goes on long enough that he actually has time to see and remember and learn the players, and therefore that's what he's obsessed with.
Well, I could talk to you for hours about the Cubs.
We should save this for untimed
but this is good. So finally, let's kind of our last topic, which is maybe the biggest thing here, is running.
Yes.
How did you become a runner? We talked, I can't remember if we were recording, but you kind of started because you were eating a lot in the restaurant.
Yes.
So it seemed like a good way to negate or counteract some of those consequences.
Yeah.
But
I started running. I had always considered myself relatively sporty.
Okay.
I had good eye-hand coordination. I could, throw and hit a ball and do
Sure.
things like that. However, I was not healthy sporty at all, and running was definitely not something I ever imagined I would do.
Sure.
If you had told me 9 years ago, hey, Collin, you're going to be on this race team and you're going to lead group runs and you're going to help new runners get going.
And you're going to win a few age group races.
Yeah, I'm going to do that kind of thing. And you're going to run this 14.5-mile half marathon-y thing around
half
Timothy
marathon,
Lake. Right? Yeah, the long half marathon that I was terrified to do and turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
I would have literally sat at the bar with my cigarette and my shot of Baker's and started laughing and said, you must mean someone else. No, not me.
This is the Collin with one L.
Yes, this is the different Collin. What happened is I went into a doctor's appointment, and the doctor happens to be my business partner's husband. And he's a fit guy, and I was coming in to have some tendonitis worked on, and I had quit smoking the year before, and I felt like I am so healthy after 26 years of a pack and a half a day. I thought, oh, I'm so healthy, this is so rad. And I realized I was taking the elevator up one flight of stairs because I hated walking into his office like breathing heavy,
out of breath, sweating.
Yeah. And I just had this moment where I was like, wow, I am so unhealthy that I am embarrassed. And so I walked in and I said, I need some help. I got to do something. He said, okay, next time you come, we're going to measure you, body fat, and da-da-da. And I remember being at the bar, my neighborhood bar, and be like, okay, I'm going in tomorrow, and I'm going to guess high. I'm going to say I weigh like 250 pounds, and I'm like 50% body fat. That's my plan. I'm just guessing high, right?
Right.
No, 248. And 48% body fat.
Oh my gosh!
So I was totally like,
you're like,
oh, I should join a carnival.
That's
God, like that's a money making skill, right?
Put me in a cage, and
but and I just the first having someone to be accountable for, and I just started eating differently. And the very first week I went in to get tested and weighed, and he's like, said the words, "Congratulations, you've lost 6 pounds," and I had an overwhelming sense of maybe having some sort of control over it. And keep in mind, I wasn't ever a miserable fat person.
Sure.
My business was successful. I had a beautiful wife. People were friendly to me.
It's not like you were just sitting at home eating Cheetos.
Right. No, all by myself in the dark, I think that was how I was able to get kind of so out of control with my weight. But I lost that first 6 pounds, and then I started working out a little bit, and then I tried to run, and that was the good one. I was like, if I can make it from here to that median in the middle of the street, then I can walk for
10
a bit.
yards,
And I kept trying, and I discovered I could run, and then I discovered I was kind of good at it, and then signed up for it was a Terrapin Events Run Like Hell kind of thing, where I was like, I'm going to be really original and wear like a superhero cape, so I had no idea, and shuffled through a 32-minute 5K and
which is very respectable
and felt great about it. And then I kept running, and finally my wife was like, you need to join a running group or something, because she's not a runner, and by then my other running friends were like, you're too fast, I don't want to run with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real nice. I was like, come on, I'll go slow for you. And they're like, no, you're not, it's not fun. And so awesome. I showed up at a Portland Running Company group run.
And how long ago was this?
This was about 5 years ago, probably. And I showed up for this group run, and there was a raffle. I'm really good at raffles. And so they gave me a PBR.
Nice.
Which was great.
Which is, how can you not come back?
Right. They gave me a PBR, which is one of my preferred brewskis. And I also won the raffle and run a really nice, light up running jacket. And I was just hooked.
Okay.
I have a picture from that first one of me holding a beer wearing
That's
a new
awesome.
jacket. And I'm like, I'm stoked. little did I know, as the years go on,
right?
Now I actually sold a bra at PRC yesterday, and I don't even work for them. So
wow, that's impressive. Yeah, they're good people down there.
They're really good.
How did that happen? You were just in there, and someone was talking about it. You're like, this is a good one.
I lead the Monday night slow jam.
Oh, right.
Which is our
6 p.m. on every Monday night.
6 p.m. every
in the
Monday.
Grand location.
Yes, it used to just be called the Monday Night Easy Run, but being such a celebrity wannabe, I rebranded it for them. So it's the slow jam.
That's good. Yeah. It's catchier.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a run for everybody. We have some fast people that go out and do their own. I love working with slower runners and new runners, so nobody should ever feel like they can't show up, and no one's, I'm there because I told somebody the other day who's like, I'm going so slow, you can go ahead, and I was like, no, you're letting me do something I love.
Yeah.
So that's really good. But how did that happen? I was with the bra. Phil came up to me, one of the guys that works at PRC, and said, Collin, I need your help. We have a customer who'd like to know about sports bras, and I don't know anything about them. It's like the one.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, I got this.
Sure.
And of course, I come walking over in my rainbow headband. Look at all. Okay, we're going to be leaving here in 2 minutes.
Got some questions?
But I was like, this is why chafing happens and so forth. And then she went to try one on, and I took the group out. And when I came back, I'm so competitive. I was like, Colton, did she buy that bra? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yes.
That's awesome. Hopefully you got a little commission kickback or something.
No, just pride. I'll take it, though.
That's good. That's good.
It works out well.
That's fun. So at this point, do you run because you're still trying to keep weight off? Because it's like those reasons you mentioned about it's just fun and enjoyable? Or I'm always curious what runners' motivations are, because backing up a little bit, one of the things I love about running is that it's one of the only things that you can do, that you can have professional athletes and, a 45-minute 5K competing in literally the same event.
Oh my God, that's so amazing.
With different goals and different aspirations. So I'm curious what your reasons are. And maybe it's too nuanced and complicated.
No, my main reasons, right now I run because it's just really a part of who I am. Yes. Like, I can't imagine not being a runner. Right. Other things.
I feel the same way.
I played kickball for 5 years. That was fun. Stop playing kickball. I don't miss it. Without running. And I have to do it every place I go. When you go to a new city and you want to tag a run in a new city no matter what.
It's fun to see it on the I use Garmin, so to see it on the Garmin Connect website after the fact. That's where I ran.
I actually have a dry erase board that's got all the states, and it says where I run, and you can hang your medals below it and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
I run because now I think it's the best way to see a new city.
Absolutely. Easily. When I think I said we've lived in Portland about 4 years, and even now my wife is like, how do you know your way around so well? I was like, because I've run all over this place, learning where things are.
And you see the details of stuff. I know, it'd be like,
little alleyways.
On this street corner, look down there, and somebody's got this little tiny unicorn in their yard. It's really cute.
Or those little, in Southeast there's these little rings on I don't know if they're over here too. But
they're all over.
Yeah, there's so many little details.
You see the details. So I run because it's part of who I am. I love working with PRC. Has been really wonderful in keeping me running.
Great.
Because they're even with the race team. I love the way that I am. I mean, we've got people who have qualified for the Olympics.
Oh yeah,
on our team.
Sub-elite level. It's pretty amazing.
And you're just like, wait a minute, I'm wearing the same uniform you're wearing.
Exactly.
What?
And in the same race.
In the same race. Yeah. And everyone's so non-judgmental about fast people, slow people. I remember when I was pretty new on the team, Christina Overbeck Crawford, stopping me to tell me I was doing, she's like, you're doing so well. Wow, I'm watching your times go by and all this stuff. And in my head, I was like,
that's so cool.
Why is that nice lady even talking to me? Shouldn't she be out talking to Shalane Flanagan or something like that?
She should be running way over there.
Yeah.
Faster.
So I love the competitive part of it too. That's, since I just turned 50, a big goal, as an older runner. Which, it's hard for me not to say that's just an excuse that I'm getting old, because so many people, are. But it's a matter of fact. As you get older, you slow down a little bit. So I reset all my PRs. And I'm
cool.
I'm like, you know what? That 23-minute 5K is just not going to happen again.
Exactly.
It's not. Set a new PR. I said PBR.
A new PBR, yeah.
Oh my God. I have one of those every day. That's cool.
That's good. I think there's no, those are Budweiser's. Never mind.
Yeah, they don't know the good stuff. But resetting my goals as an older runner is really great, and I suggest everyone do it.
I love that idea. Would you suggest every 5 years, 10 years?
Well, I haven't been a runner for 10 years, so I'd suggest every 8 years, apparently. That works for me. But I do you suggest like take a little second and
I love that idea.
Do it. It makes you feel good, and it also keeps you like I am competitive. You know, that's why I wanted to sell that damn bra. You know, I'm competitive, and it keeps me saying, oh, well, this half marathon, you know, that was my new PR, and it gives me something to go for that's achievable.
Right.
You know. Why else do I run? And health as well, too. My body would really like me to like turn every single beer I drink, since we're on the subject of beer.
Totally.
Yeah, into like fat again.
Exactly. Well, I think, you know, again, why the Brew running series is so great is because it's more or less kind of just a calorie neutral day.
Right.
You know,
right.
5K is not, you know, you're not going to lose crazy amounts of weight, but you can enjoy that beer without feeling guilty.
I think one of the best things about running competitive races now, as you know, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, judgy.
No.
There are competitive races, and then there are like races that are just for fun, and they attract a different level of people. Yep. And I want to go to one of your runs someday. Yes. I really do.
We'll figure this out, Collin.
We'll figure this out someday. Yeah. But I love the idea that people are showing up like just to finish and have a good time and socialize and enjoy the really just fun parts of running. Right. You know, instead of just beating themselves up because they were 2 minutes slower than. What's
so fun about what I love about these runs? I've never run one either. So I'm always organizing it. Is that we get. After every event, we're like, okay, this is their first run, and we always get 10, 15 people raising their hands, and talking with them afterwards. Like, this is really fun. I didn't think I was a runner, but maybe I am. But then we also get the really fast people who are like, this was actually amazing, not being timed, and just kind of enjoying the neighborhood more than, really focusing on the time. And I think that, there's something about just any kind of organized race that I think can take your running to the next level. But then especially one like this that isn't necessarily competitive, that can, I think, help all runners. And obviously, I'm a competitive runner, or try to be as well. So there's, something to be said about the shamrocks and other stuff too.
Right. But I think for a lot of people, especially newer runners, like showing up at your first organized run, it's like comedy for me. Like when I get up on stage, that first time I got up stage and just like was feeding off the crowd. I mean, how can you not feel that energy of a whole bunch of people who are just freaking psyched? Like nobody shows up for a run. Yeah. Nobody shows up for a run or a race not wanting to be there.
Right. Exactly. Very, very few people. I mean, some people get drugged there by friends or whatever, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
right?
Once it's over, you're just feeling best. I used to have really, really bad panic attacks before I started running. Horrible.
Really?
And those panic attacks took the form of I was either going to barf, faint, or poop myself, right? And so before
I've had all those feelings before a race.
Right. So before a race, I'd always feel kind of anxious until the horn went off, and then we'd start running, and then I'd be in my little mode. Okay. And then one day I realized the one place where it's completely appropriate to barf, faint, or poop yourself is at a race.
Exactly.
And the anxiety completely went away.
Yeah. It's like,
and in so many of my
cool here.
Yeah, and in so many other aspects of my life where I'm like, wait, no, have I ever barfed, pooped myself, any of these things? Nope. I think I'm good.
It's funny how much runners talk about poop and barf.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
I mean, that could be a whole nother podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, we don't even come out of a porta potty and apologize. We're just like, yep, there you go.
It's like, it's gonna. Yeah.
It was mine. It's on top.
Exactly. Clearly, it's the one that's still steamy. Oh, we won't come to that, but that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, Collin, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. An hour just flew by.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
This is awesome, and it sounds like PBR is your beer of choice.
Yeah, it's I am kind of more of a whiskey drinker.
Okay, that's right. I think I said. And you have great, by the way, cocktails at Byways too.
Thank you so much. I'm the bartender back there too.
Oh, okay.
And I have a little bit of a heavy hand. I'm just warning you.
Good to know.
Good to know. Yeah, you might want to eat a biscuit first, kind of thing.
Or the biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, all the things.
There you go. Yeah, cool.
But I'm a bit more of a whiskey drinker, so the beer is usually to slow down the whiskey. But
you got to do that. You got to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like good whiskey and cheap beer. That's my combo.
Good whiskey and cheap beer.
Absolutely.
With Collin at Byways Café.
Hey,
awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
We'll see you either at a group run, a PRC group run, at a brewery run, or in Byways again.
Or on stage.
That's right. When's your next Portland show?
My next Portland show is going to be in the end of September. And that's what she said, has a Facebook page that you can hit like, and that will
I will have
keep
to
you
check
in
that
the
out.
loop.
Awesome.
With what, because we don't always do everything together. So it's a good way to follow what our members are doing and then
Gotcha.
what we're doing as a group.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much.